Lord said, confession good for the soul. So right now, all I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. And shot call. To be known with them niggas letting shots off. Either that or the right hand to the top dog. Funny how it's better than that the line's lost. Can't be focused on a life that's hopeless. Out there pumping, not knowing the Lord to kill you for that hocus pocus. Used to roll with niggas that cooked up with weaponry. Same ones claim they love you. I had a life in jeopardy. And I know my mother wants success for me. But that G should take a girl straight to ecstasy. Remember running with bruh. Even though we did the wrong thing, my life would been a lot different if I fell upon the wrong swing. Was too sincere for a wicked game. Shame the Lord's name. Now we afflicted with pain. All I ever wanted was to be respected by stand-up niggas. Not knowing that them handcuffs custom made the all I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. I ain't lying, I was close to dying. Knew I wanted to live, but I wasn't trying. I was defiant, not knowing that this ain't how we live. This just how they design. Cause when you in the streets, you get more endearment. They don't tell you won't be on papers and no restrictions. My father said a hard head'll make a soft ass. I didn't care, I wanted fear when I walked past. In the place where a black man's blood is cheap. I thank the Lord for the day I was on Lake Street. Pissing in the cup, back and forth to court, found in D.C. school. I swear it felt like I cried on that fucking porch. The Lord said, my sheep, they ain't hear my voice. Asked me why I'm U.P.K, I told them I ain't have a choice. They said God ain't 50-50 and what's gonna come to pass. The Lord called me out the world and I started running. All it was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. I.S.U.P.K until it hit the fan. I want power and a throne, nigga, fuck the grams. All I wanted was to be a gangster, but I was really as a righteous man. And now got the upper hand, gotta promote this brand. Correct whole multitudes until they all understand. If I can't get that crowd, Lord, then put me in the hands of someone more money and make me this hit man. Reminiscing of
Hey, Shalom, Yahanna, Shema Shabbat Thumb to all the brothers, and Yahweh Shema Thumb, Shema Shah to all the sisters of the nation of Israel. This is the Israelite School, a universal and practical knowledge. We come out of 1 West, 125th Street, at the home, New York, and the Commander Yahanna. If it's not of the I.S.U.P.K on the Commander Yahanna, it's not of the truth, and it's also not of the Lord. All right, so I just want to say welcome back live to another Friday night Lashawan Qadash class. It is I, priest and officer of 1,000 Palm on the Block, holding it down on tonight. And on tonight's class, we're going to be getting into the lies concerning against the Lashawan Qadash. You understand? Because as you see in modern day society today, you have a lot of false Israelite organizations that is known for speaking the improper Hebrew and by writing and spelling out improper Hebrew, and as well as saying it as well. And that all derives from following this Yiddish Hebrew, which is spoken out of the mouth of our oppressors.
Right.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and dig into it right now, as it pertains towards debunking all these lies that's placed against the Lashawan Qadash. Now, who can tell me exactly how is Lashawan Qadash? Well, actually, let me ask this: what is actually the oldest language in history per se? I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and answer this question. Anybody on the live feed? Anybody on the live as well? I'm gonna be checking online. YouTube, Facebook, we live. You can better ask a question pertaining towards the class online. Pertaining towards the Lashawan Qadash, and I can better get to your question. Okay. So before I go ahead and actually dive into my topic, is there actually any questions pertaining towards the Lashawan Qadash? All right, because of course, if you don't have any questions, you're gonna be having a lot of questions on tonight. I can guarantee you, with the information which is about to be brought out in the Spirit of the Lord in tonight's class, there will be questions that's going to be flowing back and forth. All right, you got to speak up.
Gotta get a question.
What's the question?
My question is the Apocrypha now, was that written in Hebrew, or was that written in Greek? Or was it just English?
The Apocrypha is was mainly mostly written in the Old Testament, so it was written in the it's written in the Lashawan Qadash.
Oh, okay.
All right. All right. So that answer your question.
Come.
All right, don't sweat. So who can tell me what is the oldest language that is known today? And as well, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this article on up as well. As far as for how these false Israelite organizations manage to speak this Yiddish Hebrew and where it actually comes from, and as far as for the misplacements of the Lord's name, as far as for this Yehuda, this Yeshua, I'm gonna explain exactly in depth where this come from and why they're using it today. All right, so just bear with me for a second. All right, so who can better answer that question per se? Nobody?
Well, sir, I'll take a shot at it.
Go ahead.
The ancient Hebrew is what we'll be teaching right now.
The ancient Hebrew is the world's oldest language?
Come.
All right, don't sweat. The brother's correct. All right, so the ancient Hebrew is the world's oldest language. And the way we know that it's the world's oldest language because this language that is according to the scripture is that pure tongue.
Right.
You understand? Because of course the power that we serve in Israelite I.S.U.P.K is the holies of holies, as the scripture says. You understand? This is a language that was given to Adam and his descendants, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and all the way on down to to Isaac. It's like to Isaac and Jacob, to the 12 tribes.
Right.
You understand? Now, of course, there was one period of time to where everybody on the planet was speaking Hebrew at the Tower of Babel. You understand? Until the Lord sent an angel down there to be able to separate everybody into their own language. I mean, into their own country with their own language, having their own different customs. But it was one man that kept the language from the past and preserved it towards the future, towards his descendants, and that was Abaria. Abaria in the Hebrew means from beyond, from the past to the future, to where if you translate it to the English, his name is actually it's like his name is losing me right now. Let me pull this up real quick. Grab from Yak, if you could. We're gonna go to the book of Genesis. Quick. We're gonna go to the book of Genesis. Let me see. Bear with me for a second. We're gonna go to Genesis 10. All right. We're gonna go to the Genesis, the 10th chapter, and I'm gonna let you know what verse we're gonna start at. All right. We're gonna start at verse 21.
All
right.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 21.
Actually, start at verse 22.
This This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 22. The children of Shem.
The children of who?
Shem.
Right, the children of Shem. Shem is the son of who, according to the Bible? You go ahead and get that, Chris. Shem, according to the Bible, is one of the sons of Noah who survived the flood. And Shem, through his lineage, is to where the promises come into one nation of people, and that's the Israelites. You understand? Now, Shem is the man that wound up carrying on the language of his forefathers all the way on down towards this one specific son, in which the brother's going to go ahead and read. All right?
Elam.
Right, Elam. Who is Elam? Elam is your so-called East Indians. You understand? Go ahead.
And Asher.
Mm-hmm.
And Arphaxad.
Mm-hmm.
And Lud.
Mm-hmm.
And Aram.
And Aram, go ahead.
Verse 23. And the children of Aram, Uz and Hul, and Gether and Mash.
Right, so these are descendants of Aram. Aram is the son of Shem, and now these are the grandsons of Shem that we've seen in the Bible right now. And now you may be asking yourself, what does this have to play a significant role in the Lashawan Qadash? Well, you're about to find out. Keep reading.
Verse 24. And Arphaxad begat Salah.
Uh-huh.
And Salah begat Eber.
Begat who?
Begat Eber.
Right. Eber in Hebrew means Abaria, which means Hebrew. Before people in times past, especially in the book of Genesis where Noah was living, where it's like not where Noah was living, but where the 12 tribes were residing at over there in the east, where Isaac was alive, when Abraham was alive, you know, when they was going forth to and fro from Egypt, and when like that the case, they wasn't calling our language Hebrew. They was calling it Eber. You understand? That was the tongue that our ancestors were speaking of from before time, which is Hebrew. You understand? Eber is Hebrew, just like today how we call it Hebrew. But,
right.
But before time they didn't call it Hebrew. They called it Eber. Eber is the language of our forefathers, which is what they spoke, just like what we're speaking now in I.S.U.P.K. All right, so Eber means Eber is Hebrew, and his name means from beyond, from the past, from beyond, from the past, meaning that he kept and preserved the Lord's language in the past where he was at, and he passed it on down to his sons,
right,
all the way up towards the Tower of Babel, to where his lineage still kept that language. You know what I'm saying? That's why we have it today. All right, and the Lashawan Qadash is the world's oldest language.
That's right.
And the way we know it is because, of course, this is the language that the Lord speaks out of his own mouth. You understand? The Lord will never speak any other tongue that doesn't have no that isn't separate from every other language. You understand? That's why the nation of Israel is so hell bent on being separate from everything on the earth, because everything on the earth is against the Lord.
Right.
All right. So you can go ahead and keep reading on that.
Verse 25. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg.
Uh-huh.
For in his days was the earth divided.
For in his days was the earth what?
Was the earth divided.
Right. Now, what does that mean? For in his days was the earth divided? I'm going to give y'all some time on that.
It's like, sir. They mean that they divided the sons of Adam?
No, not that. I basically just gave the answer to you a little bit earlier. What did the Lord do at the Tower of Babel?
Oh, he separated the languages.
Right. He separated the people into their own land and into their own country with their own culture, with their own language.
Right.
That's what it means. Read that over one more time.
For in his days was the earth divided.
Right. In his days was the earth divided. This was Eber's sons, to where they lived through the period of the Sumerian Empire. You understand? To where King Nimrod was a man that was ruling the earth at the time.
Right.
To where the Lord sent an angel to separate everyone. All right, so go ahead.
And his brother's name was Jonathan. Verse 26. And Jonathan begat Almadad, and Shalef, and Hazamaveth.
Okay, you can go ahead and drop that, priest.
Come.
Now, the thing about the Lashawan Qadash, a lot of people may find confusing, is the ancient Hebrew and the Assyrian. You understand? Because, of course, a lot of people would say that the ancient Hebrew and the Assyrian Hebrew are two completely different languages. They're the same language, it's just written differently.
Right.
The ancient Hebrew, or as some people may call it, the Phoenician Hebrew or the Paleo Hebrew, it doesn't matter. It's the same. You understand? That is a form of language in the way in which it was written before we wind up being taken captive into the Assyrian Empire. All right. Now, of course, as far as for the Assyrian Hebrew, it's spoken the same, just as the ancient Hebrew, just written differently.
Right.
Now, how that language came about, who knows how that language came about, and as far as for the way in which it was written. As far as for the Assyrian Hebrew, who knows how it was written out, and why was it written out? I say this at the very beginning of every Lashawan Qadash class. All right.
Come.
Give some time on that. All right. So the way okay, I'm gonna go ahead and answer for y'all for time's sake. The way we want to get into Assyrian Hebrew is when we was in captivity underneath the Assyrian Empire, we preserved our language to keep our language.
Right.
You understand? And by changing the characters to where we can be able to keep the Lord's language and serve the Lord and serve the Lord with one spirit, one mind, and one body. You understand? The Assyrian Hebrew is just like is our cursive form of Hebrew.
Right.
You understand? Just like how we've been raised in Western in this Western era over here in America. How we've been learning how to write print, learn how to write cursive.
Come.
You understand? It's the same thing. You understand? The scripture says that there's nothing new underneath the sun. It's the same way that our oppressor managed to go ahead and steal our culture and make it his. Well, he managed to bring about cursive and by getting it from the Lashawan Qadash. You understand? That Assyrian Hebrew is our cursive form to where you can easily see and equate how towards our young children in these public schools and private schools is learning how to write cursive. But now I believe they're taking cursive out of the school curriculum right now.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so that's the history of how the Assyrian Hebrew came into fruition. All right. All right, so go ahead and grab for me, priest. Genesis 11:4.
Okay.
I've been seeing a lot of questions online recently about the Sumerian Empire. We're gonna dive into the Sumerian Empire on tonight, and as well as some other different languages as well that all derives from Hebrew. Every language that we know on the earth today all comes from Hebrew.
That's right.
Understand? Hebrew by being the first language, and as far as for these other nations that exist today, and the language in which they speak, they language in which they speak throughout the course of time and history, all derives back from Hebrew. You understand? The Arabs which speak Arabic, that came from Hebrew.
Right.
Akkadian, that came from Hebrew. Aramaic, which Christ spoke, that came from Hebrew. You understand? Latin, Greek, the ancient Roman language, that all derives from Hebrew. All right. So you got the scripture for me up?
Come.
All right, go ahead.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 4. And they said, "Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven."
Actually, you know what? Let's start at verse 1.
Come.
I want to start at verse 1. I want us to get the whole entire meat of this scripture right here. All right.
Come. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language.
And the whole earth was of one what?
One language.
Right. Now, King Nimrod, when he came to fruition, he had the same philosophy in which our oppressor which our oppressor today's follow, as far as for establishing the one world order,
Right.
to where every nation on the earth can better be underneath America's democracy, to where they can omit their own laws and their own culture and to follow the culture of America. Is that not what our oppressor is known for?
Right.
Is that not why he's currently taking up arms against North Korea and China? So that way they can better be underneath their flag. You understand? That's exactly what King Nimrod did. King Nimrod, his name means hunter. You understand? Because of
Right.
course he went out and he sought the most powerful man during his period of time, to where he managed to get them underneath his rule. You
Right.
understand? That's why we know him to better be the first king in the Bible that ruled over some land, territory, and nations. All right, so you can go ahead and keep reading on that.
And of one speech.
One speech, and this one language, this one speech was the Lashawan Qadash. Now, how do we know after the Tower of Babel, where everybody was at, that they were speaking the Lashawan Qadash? I want to see who knows this. Who knows the answer towards the people that was at the Tower of Babel, that they was all speaking the Lashawan Qadash. All right. Let me check online as well for questions, anything like that. Turning towards the topic. Bear with me. All right, for time's sake, the way that we know that everybody at the Tower of Babel spoke the ancient Hebrew is because everybody came from Adam.
All right.
You understand? I said at the very beginning of the class, Adam spoke Hebrew, so you can therefore know that through not through Esau's, through Cain's descendants and through Seth's descendants, they all spoke the Lashawan Qadash. They all spoke Hebrew. Now, does that mean that each and every last one of them was holy in the Spirit of the Lord? No, it does not, because of course it wasn't up until the point period of time to where the Lord chose Abraham to better have the inheritance and the promises.
That's right.
To be separate from everybody else. But everybody did have the Lashawan Qadash, you understand, which was the holy tongue. So you can better have that in your notes, you understand. So as far as knowing that Shem, Ham, and Japheth, they all spoke the Lashawan Qadash, and it wasn't up until the point period of time to where the Lord seen everybody at the Tower of Babel, as far as having one culture, one
Right.
language, and He didn't want that. You understand? So as far as for the Empire of America today, wanting everybody to be underneath one rainbow coalition, it's not going to happen.
Right.
That's why the Lord sent the coronavirus to better go ahead and let this man know that that your rule is coming to an end.
That's right.
You understand? The scripture says that. Good night. The scripture says that that there's going to be famines and plagues all over the earth. You understand? This coronavirus is a plague that is the biggest. You know, it's rocking America to where it's breaking the economy of America down to its foundation.
That's right.
You understand? So you can go ahead and keep reading on that.
Verse 2. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plague in the land of Shinar.
In the land of what?
Of Shinar.
In the land of Shinar. Shinar is the land of Sumer. You understand? Which is in the land of the Mesopotamia. All right. Now, as far as for Shinar, Shinar is the land of Sumer, which is Babylon. And Babylon, as we know today, is Iraq. So that's exactly where this place was back in those times, to where the Tower of Babel was built. All right. So you can go ahead and keep reading on that.
And they dwelt there.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 3.
And before you keep reading now, for anybody who may happen to be confused about the Sumerian Empire and the Sumerian language, if you happen to do your research, you can better look at the Sumerian text. That Sumerian text, in which they spoke back then, was the Lashawan Qadash.
That's right.
You understand? And also another thing as well, which is a very heavy thing to know. The Sumerian Empire was your so-called Canaanites. You understand? They derived from Ham. King Nimrod, he was a Hamite.
Right.
He was an African. All right, and he was an African that spoke Hebrew. All throughout the scriptures, you see Israel before it was called Israel, before the Lord put us in that land. It was called Canaan. You understand? Because it was the Canaanites who were descendants of Ham was dwelling in that land. Because of course, all throughout the Bible in the book of Genesis, who had a son and they dwelt in a certain land, that land was named after their son. All right, so of course Canaan was one of the sons of Ham, and Canaan wound up having land to where it wound up being known as Canaan. And then of course the Lord, through the Spirit of the Lord, and by choosing Joshua and Caleb, we took over that land to where it was made Israel.
That's right.
All right. So is there any more in that scripture?
Just the next verse 3.
Keep reading.
Verse 3. And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime they had for mortar.
Okay, now this right here is where the people was using slime and mortar to better go ahead and build the tower. Now this is way before the Egyptian Empire. The Egyptian Empire, they had when Pharaoh had it's like when Pharaoh Ramesses II, when he had us in captivity, we used brick, mortar, and slime as well.
Right.
So what do you think? What do you think we learned it from our slaves in Egypt back then? We learned it from our ancestors prior before time.
Right.
The same way that they built the same way that we built those pyramids of Giza and whatnot like that's the case for Ramesses. We wound up using the same structure and tactics that we used to build the Tower of Babel. All right, it's in the scriptures. Go ahead.
And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. Verse 4. And they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
Okay, you can go ahead and drop that.
Come.
All right, because of course, one thing I want to bring out as well, which is real reminiscence towards and against the I.S.U.P.K, is that you will see in these public schools that they will say that the world's oldest language is Tamil. You understand? The Tamil, which is spelled Tamil, it is not the world's oldest language because, of course, that's the language that belongs towards the East Indians.
Right.
You understand? I mean, like I don't know what to tell you. Like, of course, when the Dead Sea Scrolls, when they came about in the early 19th century, in the early 18th century, it was some of the world's oldest texts that our person found, and along with the not with the Dead Sea Scrolls, along with other tablets and scrolls that was found over in the east. You understand? To where it was proven that that the language in which they found on those items actually was the language that was spoken out of the mouths of the blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians.
That's right.
You understand? Because of course they even found them over here in North America, where so-called Hispanics and North American Indian brothers was at before they even colonized this country.
Right.
You understand? So that's how you know that what they found over there in the east and over here in this West continent, they know that the blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians are in fact the true descendants of the nation of Israel.
That's right.
All right. So you can go ahead and drop that out, and let's go to let's see. Hold Zephaniah 3 and 9. All right. I'm gonna see if I can better pull this article up on the screen real quick. All right, so of course we're gonna go ahead and get into right now. What I'm about to bring out is the reason why you see a lot of brothers and sisters outside the Israelite school I.S.U.P.K, or why they speaking this Yiddish language, and they have names such as Yehuda and Yasha and Yehuhu and all that crap.
Right.
You understand? They are being misled by false teachers from other Israelite organizations. And in the Israelite school I.S.U.P.K, we teach the proper and adequate Lashawan Qadash.
That's right.
Because of course we know that this is the accurate Hebrew, all right, in the way in which it should be spoken, all right, because there is no vowels in the Lashawan Qadash such as the letter J, such as the letter E, such as the letter U. You understand? Such as the letter O. Those letters are not found in the Lashawan Qadash.
Right.
All right. And as far as for the misplacements of the Lord's name, which they say, which is Yehuda, and Yeshuva. Well, I'm about to break down exactly where these names came from.
Right.
In tonight's class. All right. So I got the article up on the screen. I'm gonna have you read it. Read on out and powerful for me.
Come. I'm gonna do the Zionism. Just his name.
Just start from. I'll start at the very beginning.
Come. Zionism and Israel. Biography of Eliezer ben Yehuda.
It's this devil's name is it's like Eleazar ben Yehuda. All right, I'm gonna get into the breakdown of this devil's name in just a minute. Keep reading.
Come. Eliezer ben Yehuda is known as the father of modern Hebrew.
Known as the father what?
Of modern Hebrew.
Now, of course, Eleazar ben Yehuda, good night. Ben Yehuda is so-called the father of modern Hebrew because, of course, he's also a member of the Zionist movement. And who knows what the Zionist movement is about?
It's like, so all I remember is they tried to either overthrow Hitler or they tried to take all their money or something like that, and that's all I know about.
What the Zionist movement was about the Polish, which was taken captive beneath the Germans in the midst of the Third World War, to where they so-called proclaimed that the land of the East was there and that it belongs to us, our forefathers, which is a lie. It actually belongs towards us.
That's right.
And they fight hard and neck over there in Europe to proclaim a land which wasn't rightfully theirs.
Right.
Understand? And as far as for the Holocaust, which was such a beautiful thing in my sight, as far as what happened, because of course the real Holocaust is what happened to niggas.
That's right.
You understand? What happened to the Jamaicans?
Right.
What happened to the